Setting boundaries for your kids do not only mean that you are inconsiderate or you're not a good parent, it actually helps them to grow up to be responsible individuals. Many a times I will see kids causing sin in the streets because the parents have refused to buy them something which they really need at the moment. This is one thing about kids, and these things can occur when a clear and structured boundary is not set. Boundaries are actually very important. They help kids to grow up to become responsible and well-structured individuals. A kid who never heard the word no would not grow up in a positive manner because they would always expect other people to, because they wouldn't know how to deal with frustration and accepting a negative reply from other people. You have to know that kids do not remain in your household the whole time. They grow up every time and they have to go out there, they have to mingle with other kids, they have to go to school, and the teachers in school, they are not the same people as you. They have other personality, and they have other expectations from your kids. The first way for you to start setting boundary is to start very early. It's much easier for you to set boundary for kids who are much more younger than when they get older. I mean, from the age of 4 or 5 years, it usually becomes difficult when you start from when the child is around 1 2 years old. So you see the benefits when you start much earlier. The second way of setting boundary is to be clear and specific. It's important for you to use a specific and age-appropriate language while trying to set boundaries for kids. Giving age-appropriate and well-structured sentence enables the child to know what you actually mean. Another way you could set boundary is by being consistent. Inconsistency confuses children and makes it very hard for them to stick to boundaries. If bedtime is by 8 p.m., if bedtime is by 8 p.m., make sure that the kids go to bed exactly by 8 p.m., even during the weekend. If you have a special event or a get-together party which delayed the time of going to bed, you have to communicate this in right terms by telling them, oh, today is special, this is why you're going to bed by 9 p.m. instead of the usual 8 p.m. But it's important for you to make them know the reason why they're going to bed for that particular day later than usual. Another way you could set boundary is by using positive language. For example, instead of you saying don't run, you could say when we are inside the house, we do not run. This you can do while you are at the playing ground, or later in the day we could go to the playing ground so you have enough space to run. Another thing is that you have to communicate with the child why they have to do the things you want them to do at that moment. So when a child knows why a boundary is being set, they are more inclined to stick to these boundaries than when they do not know the reason behind it. For example, instead of you saying you have to wear a helmet, you could say we wear a helmet because it keeps us safe when we fall. Another way of setting boundaries is by offering choices and being flexible as a boundary setter. For example, you could say, instead of you saying you have to do your own work, sometimes you could say this, but in other times you would want to rather say, okay, you have to do your own work. You can do this when you finish playing. You could also do this after dinner. It doesn't matter. This can be done later, but I want your own work to be done before bed. This makes them to see how flexible you are, and they have a reason of sticking to the boundary due to your flexibility. You also have to put up with a positive reinforcement. If a child follows, if a child respects a boundary for a certain period of time, you have to praise this behavior. This enforces good behavior and encourages kids to follow up by keeping up with the boundary. Another important aspect while trying to set boundary is that you have to be a role model for the kids. So kids are looking up to you. They look what you're doing and they imitate everything you do, even if you think they're not saying that. So while you're setting the boundary of not being with your phone the whole day, you would also want to ensure that you put your phone away. While setting up a boundary, you would want to try to reassess and revisit the boundaries which you've set on a regular basis. A coffee, that is the time a child is supposed to be home, might be different for a child for might be different for a 12 years old in comparison to the time you've set for a 16 years old. Or the time a 12 years old is supposed to be home for a day might be shorter than the time a 16 years old is supposed to be. So guys, these are ways of setting boundaries, and these are also why boundaries are very important in the lives of kids. I hope this video was able to help you in some ways and put you through on how to set boundaries. If you've not subscribed to this channel, please do well to do so. In this channel, I talk about everything about my experience in Germany, parenthood, my profession as an educator and Erzieherin. I talk about everything in this nature. Do well to subscribe so you can get more videos from me. Do have a nice day, guys, and I will see you in my next video.